Have you guys ever read a book and loved it, only to go online thinking you're gonna see everyone else also loving it and talking about how great it is, but every single review on Goodreads is, "This is a piece of garbage. This book is horrible. How can anyone like this book?" That has been me on several occasions. So I'm putting these garbage books to the test, and I will be reading the worst rated books on Goodreads. These are not the worst rated books on all of Goodreads. These are just the worst rated books on my TBR. And what I decided to do was, instead of picking like the 5 worst rated books, which would all be horror books, because for some reason horror just tends to be lower rated than other genres, I'm gonna pick the worst rated book in each genre. I want a wide range of garbage for this video, okay? So I'm gonna pick a horror, a thriller, a sci-fi, a fantasy, and a romance. The books that I have chosen: for the fantasy, we have The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reid. For the thriller, we have Temper by Lane Fargo. The romance is Fool Me Once by Ashley Winstead. The sci-fi is The All-Consuming World by Cassandra Khaw. And the horror is The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay, which is actually the single lowest rated book on my TBR. Now, interestingly enough, I've read from all of these authors before, and with the exception of Ava Reid, I've enjoyed books from all of these authors. Lane Fargo, Ashley Winstead, and Cassandra Khaw have all gotten 5 stars from me. I'm gonna read all of these books and determine if they're actually really horrible like everyone says that they are, or if they're just hidden gems. I have amazing news. I'm enjoying Temper so far. I started it earlier today and I'm already a little bit over halfway. I'm just flying through it. I don't know if it's because it's been a long time since I have read like a thriller kind of book, although put a pin in that thought because I'll come back to it in a second. It's been a while since I've read anything from like this genre, so I'm just like flying through it. I'm having a good time. I'm not obsessed with it, but I am optimistically enjoying it. It's a very quick read. Basically, what this is about is we're following an actress named Kira who auditions for a play and gets the lead role. And she ends up having a very weird, obsessive connection with the director of the play and the person who's playing the male lead. His name is Malcolm. He's this very like enigmatic person in the theater world. He's known for pushing his actors to their limits and like really testing the boundaries. This is really reminding me of a mixture of 2 movies that I really enjoy. The first one, Black Swan, but the other one that it reminds me of is my favorite movie of last year, which was called Your Monster or My Monster. I always forget if it's My Monster or Your Monster. Basically, that movie is kind of the plot of this book if you take out the monster, because in that movie the main character is an actress in a play, and the director of the play is her ex-boyfriend, and there's a very like weird dynamic between the 2 of them. There's tension, but in that movie you go through all of the different things leading up to a play. The table read, the rehearsals, the dress rehearsal, like all of those things is kind of what this book is. Underneath there's like a very weird obsessive vibe, so I am enjoying it. However, I will say it is not a thriller. So I'm wondering if one of the reasons why this has a lower rating is because people read They Never Learn, loved it, like I loved it, and then read this thinking it was gonna be similar, where that one definitely like is a thriller. This one is not. This is more of like a psychological drama. I was actually looking to see if anywhere on here it says thriller, and it doesn't actually. Yeah, oh, no, it says psychological thriller. Okay, that's where they're gonna get people, because it's not a thriller at all. There's no thriller. There's no thriller aspect. It's just a psychological drama. There are a couple things that I don't love so far. Basically, it's told in 2 points of view. So one of them is Kira, the main character / actress, and then the other one is Joanna, who I have not mentioned Joanna yet, but she's basically Malcolm's business partner, and they also have their own kind of obsessive, weird dynamic. I don't like her perspective at all. I don't really think it adds much to this book. I think I would have rather it been all Kira's point of view or Kira and Malcolm. But Joanna is kind of giving Malcolm's point of view, but like less interesting. And she just spends the whole book being like, oh my God, I'm so jealous of Kira. I'm obsessed with Malcolm. I'm so jealous of Kira. Like, it's tired, it's boring. I don't like her point of view. But Lane Fargo is a great writer. It's very consumable of a book. Like I said, I'm just flying through it. I have not been reading it for very long, and I probably am gonna go sit down and finish it right now, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. So far, I'm not mad at it. I do find it interesting. It's just nowhere near as good as They Never Learn. All right, I finished. It was so quick. I think I read this in just a couple of hours. I liked it. I think it's gonna be a 3.5 star. I really enjoyed the ending. The ending kind of pulled it together for me. Ending was predictable though. Like, you can predict the ending from the very beginning, which I will say the plot twist in They Never Learn, I also predicted. So I think Lane Fargo is just a little bit predictable. My few critiques for this, other than the ones that I've already said, it's very repetitive. The whole like middle chunk of the book is the same scene over and over and over, where Kira goes to do rehearsals with Malcolm, and Malcolm pushes her to her limit and keeps her there for a really long time, and she's getting no sleep. And then the next day she comes back, they do rehearsals again, he pushes her to her limit, she gets no sleep. Like, it's just this continuous repetitive cycle where they are rehearsing the exact same scene in this play, which leads me to my second critique of what is this play? What is it about? I read the same short scene probably 50 times. I heard the same scene recited 50 times. I don't know anything else about this play other than that one scene, and I'm like, what's the play? What is the play? The whole book is about the play, and I only know one scene. Why did she write? Like, it kind of feels like she didn't know how to write a play, and so she was like, I have this one scene that I thought of, and I'm gonna make them rehearse that one scene a million times throughout the entire book, and no one will ever know anything else about this play, because what is this play about? No clue. I read a whole book about the play, and I don't know what the play is. So I'm giving this three stars. I think 3 is good. I don't know that I recommend this. What I do recommend is the movie. I looked it up, Your Monster. That was my favorite movie of last year. It's so good, and it's basically a very similar plot to this, very similar discussions to this, but a million times better. A million times better. That movie was so, so good. So I recommend watching the movie. I don't fully recommend reading this, but it wasn't horrible. Like, I get it. I enjoyed my time reading it. It's just not, it's not good. It could have been better. I think with some tweaking, it could have been better. I don't know if she wrote this first. It kind of looks like she did, because I don't see They Never Learn mentioned anywhere. So I'm wondering if this was her first book. That would make sense to me. This really did feel like a first book. And then They Never Learn feels a lot better plotted, a lot better put together. So I will say, if you loved They Never Learn and you're wanting to read more from Lane Fargo, I don't think I would recommend this. But if you've never read anything from her before and the plot of this sounds interesting to you, then maybe pick it up. But it is a 3-star for me. I have started the Pallbearers Club, which is the actual lowest rated book on my entire TBR. I don't think I've ever had a book on my TBR that is rated lower than this one. And I know it just has like such strong mixed opinions, but when people talk about this book, like the people who love this book, specifically I'm thinking Kayla from Books and Lala, although I do know she says that she does not recommend this book to people, even though she loves it. The way that she's always just described it has sounded like something that I would actually like. So even though it is the lowest rated book on my TBR, and I know so many people who hate it, I am going in optimistically. I want to enjoy it. I do think I've set my expectations correctly, that this is gonna be more of like a quiet, subtle, not super like horror book, which I do enjoy books like that. So I'm going into it with, I think, the correct expectations to hopefully have the best outcome. I'm like 20% in right now. So I do have a good idea of what the book is about. Basically, it's actually kind of a cool concept. The book itself is a memoir written by the main character. So the book that we're reading is an actual book in the world of the book that we're reading. And he's basically talking about his life starting in high school, creating this Pallbearers Club group, and ultimately his friendship with Mercy and kind of all of the places that that friendship leads him later in life. But an added extra aspect to the book is that the copy that we're reading of his memoir has been annotated by Mercy. So it's like multiple levels of sort of like breaking the fourth wall, where we're reading a book that exists inside the world of the book that we're reading. It's the main character's memoir, but on top of that, his friend Mercy, who the book is kind of about, has annotated this specific copy of it with all of her commentary and contradictions and sort of notes to the main character, Art. And it's very interesting because there's a lot of things where she will contradict what he says, where she will say, that is not what happened, that's not what I said, why are you depicting me this way? It's interesting that you recollect things that way. So we're getting almost like multiple perspectives kind of on this memoir with like how he wrote it and then her additional commentary, which I do think is a very interesting aspect because it kind of plays with this idea that like you have no control over what version of you exists in other people's minds, and it will never line up. Like the way that other people view you will never line up with how you view yourself, and there's nothing you can do about that. Like Mercy is reading this version of herself in this memoir that she doesn't recognize. She's thinking, this is not me. I can't believe like you viewed me this way or you thought these things about me. But it just got me thinking that like there's a million different versions of you that exist in the heads of everyone you've ever encountered. Some of those versions of you might be a raging bitch. I just think that is very fascinating. It also kind of leads the question of like, is there even such thing as a reliable narrator? Because memories are not accurate, and how one person remembers something is not how another person remembers it. So if memories itself is unreliable, can anyone be reliable? Much to ponder. Now, all that to say, is the book boring so far? I fear the rumors are correct. It is a little boring. It's a little slow, but I'm gonna stick with it. Because I like the ideas, I like the conversations that are happening. I love Mercy's interjections and commentary. That is my favorite part of the book. So I'm gonna go keep reading. Honestly, even though it is a little bit of a boring book, I am kind of flying through it. So I think I could finish it today. I'm gonna go read a little bit more and then I will check back in if I have any new thoughts. I have been listening to this for the past couple of hours. I have more thoughts. One thing is that this is technically a vampire book. And I say technically because a big part of the plot is about vampires. I would not say that this is a vampire book. And I think that might be some people's issue with it. I could see that being like, if someone goes into it thinking it's a vampire book and wanting a vampire book, you're gonna be very disappointed. It kind of reminds me of Women Eating by Claire Kohda in that sense, where I love that book, gave it 5 stars, and that's another one that's technically a vampire book, but if you go into it wanting a vampire book, you're gonna be disappointed because that's not what it's about. And this one is kind of similar to that, where like there is a very big vampire element to it. It's not about the vampires. And this part, I don't know if this is spoilery yet. I won't know until I finish the book. So if you don't want to know anything about this book, you can skip to this timestamp here, but I'm going to explain what the vampire element is. I'm not sure if this is spoilery, but just in case it is, I'm prefacing with that. But basically, the vampire element in this book is that the main character, Art, thinks that his childhood friend, Mercy, is a vampire. And so kind of like what I was saying before, where like there is this version of you that exists in someone else's head. In his version, his friend is a vampire. And she is saying, that is not true, that is crazy, I can't believe you thought that. But then there's this added extra element where it's like, is she lying? Like who do we believe? Who do we trust? Is she a vampire? Is she not a vampire? Is Art crazy, or was he influenced by all these vampiric things? We don't know. It reminded me of something that I did as a kid. Like this just like brought up a memory for me that in elementary school, I convinced my best friend that I was a witch. And I was like very committed to this role of being a witch. I was giving my Oscar-worthy performance at the age of 8 years old of being a witch, to the point that somewhere after elementary school, I think we went to like different middle schools, so we lost touch. And then somewhere around like high school, we reconnected, and she confessed to me that until like the end of middle school, she still thought I was a witch. She still believed that I was a witch and that she was keeping my secret. And I just find that hilarious because that was just like a little silly bit for me when I was a kid of like, oh my god, I'm a witch. But she genuinely believed it. So now I'm also like, is that what happened? Mercy was just so committed to this bit of being a vampire and Art did not realize it was a joke. Who knows? Who knows? It could be any of those options. She could be a vampire. He could be crazy. She could have been playing a big prank on him. Who knows? I will say also another thing that keeps coming up for me is the question of, is this horror? And if it's not horror, what is it? I do think a lot of times people will say like, oh, this isn't horror, but what they really mean is this specific horror didn't scare me, or this specific horror wasn't intended to scare. Because I do think there are some types of horror that it's not, the intention isn't really to scare, more so to create a sense of like unease or disturbance. But I do find that a lot of times when people say like, oh, this book isn't horror, they really just mean it didn't scare them. But I don't know if I think that this book is horror, other than there's a slight vampire element, and I'm wondering if it was just categorized as horror because that is what Paul Tremblay has historically written, and they didn't know how else to market it. But I think if you go into it thinking it's a horror and expecting a vampire book, you're gonna be very disappointed. I only have a little bit left of the book. I'm gonna go read it and then I will come back with my full thoughts. I will say I don't think that this is gonna get a very high rating for me at the moment. I do have a lot of issues with it, which we'll talk about when I finish, but it has been a very interesting read. So I'm not mad that I've read it. I think it just hasn't worked for me in a lot of aspects, but let me go finish. Okay, I have finished The Pallbearers Club. I wanted to show you guys what the annotations in here actually look like. So like you'll have a page and then all the red writing will be like her little notes in the margins. She'll like write all of these little notes, and then at the end of every chapter she has like a reflection of like what the whole chapter was and like all of her thoughts about the chapter. Those were by far the most interesting parts of the book. Also, if you listen to the audiobook, it's dual narrators. So I think I'm gonna be giving this 2.5 stars. I'm between 2 stars and 2.5. 2 feels a little low, but then 3 feels way too high. I think that this was a very interesting concept and a very ambitious concept to try to get across. Like I said, I loved Mercy's annotations. I loved that idea, the idea of the book being a memoir written by the main character, and then his friend later annotates their copy of it, and that's what we're reading. I think that that is very interesting. I just did not find Art as a main character, as a protagonist, reading his memoir. I did not find him interesting. I did not particularly like him. So there was a lot about his life and his story that I just was not interested in. If he was a real person, I would not be tuned in to his memoir. So that's kind of where I'm going between, where I think the concept was very interesting. I loved Mercy, but since the entire book is Art's memoir and I did not find him interesting or care about his story, I don't think I can give it higher than a 2.5, but I do think that there's a lot that you can like discuss about this book. There was a lot that it brought up for me. So yeah, I think ultimately 2.5 stars. One thing that I will give Paul Tremblay, because this is my 3rd book that I've read by him. I've read Horror Movie, which I enjoyed, the Ghost one, Head Full of Ghosts, which I didn't really like, and now this one. He's a very interesting author, and I think he really like tries to do something different with each of his books. It doesn't always work for me or always translate into what I think he's trying to get across, but I like that he always tries something new, and like all of his books feel very different from each other, but also kind of the same in the sense that he just kind of like really goes out there. He goes out there on a limb with what he's writing, the style of what he's writing, where the story goes. So I do appreciate that, but I unfortunately did not love this one like I was hoping that I would. I wanted to be a contrarian and come on here and say, y'all just don't get it. Y'all just don't get it. Unfortunately, I do understand why people don't like this. I have started Fool Me Once. I gotta say, I already hate it a lot. Like, instantly hated it. So basically, this is a second chance romance between the heroine and her ex-boyfriend who she cheated on, which already hate that. She works for like a alternative to Tesla. And then he works with a politician in Texas. They end up having to work together because she's trying to help bring electric cars to Texas. I don't know, the politic plot of it is so uninteresting to me. I kind of glaze over when they're talking about it. But the whole like angst and issue of the book is that when they were together, she cheated on him. I just can't get over how shitty of a person this main character is, because she's such a hypocrite, first of all. She keeps talking about how much she hates cheaters. Her big trauma in life is that she caught her dad cheating on her mom and it like broke them up. And then her first two boyfriends before this current ex both cheated on her. So she has a lot of cheating trauma, but then she goes and cheats on this man that she loves. And not only cheated on him, but like cheated on him with his rival and did it publicly in front of all of his friends and family, like humiliated him. So much so that she ran him out of town. Like he moved across the country to get away from her and the humiliation and the heartbreak. So aside from the whole like, this entire romance is built on cheating, I don't care about the plot right now because I don't want to be reminded about politics when I'm reading romance books, like especially because I live where this is taking place. It takes place in Austin, Texas. It's about Texas politics. I'm not trying to be reminded about all that mess, please. And the main character is just giving like such, I'm a cool girl, I can outdrink any guy, and I smoke weed and I get high, but I'm also a bad bitch at work. I don't think I've ever hated a heroine in a romance book more than her. And they keep having all of these scenes where like they're bickering and arguing, and it's supposed to be giving like, ooh, tension. It's not, it's giving childish. It is giving childish. These two people should not interact with each other ever again. They bring out the worst in each other. I'm gonna read a little bit more and see how I'm feeling, but as of right now, I hate it. Okay, I just read a little bit more. As if this heroine could not get any more irritating. I hate her. I hate her so much. Basically, she just found out that this guy, her ex, what's his name? Ben? Like I said, when she cheated on him, he fled the state. He left Texas, went to California, and the whole reason that he moved back, she just found out, is because his current girlfriend got a job there and he wanted to move back to support her and be with his girlfriend. And she literally has the audacity to say that that news, the fact that he moved back to Texas for his new girlfriend, she feels betrayed by that. What? She's like, oh, he left Texas because of me, but he comes back for his new girlfriend? Yeah, bitch, because you cheated on him. What? She's giving so delusional. Then she says this quote, I'm allergic to people who make serious life choices for a fleeting relationship. She says that to him, and he goes, me and my girlfriend are very serious. Why does this man keep talking to her? He should never talk to her again. I forgot to mention there's also a whole nother plot where her sister's boyfriend cheats on her. I'm like, why is everyone in this book cheating? There's so many everyone in this book is a cheater. I'm not feeling an ounce of chemistry. They bring out the worst in each other. Everyone in this book is horrible. Everyone is a cheater. The main character is insufferable. I hate it. I hate it. I'm losing the will to keep going, but I'm gonna try my hardest. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read this until I hate myself. And once I hate myself, I'm done. Okay, I hate myself. I hate myself, I hate the book, I hate the main character. I hate Ashley Winstead for writing this. I'm just kidding, I don't actually hate Ashley Winstead, but girl, you're testing my patience. I gotta rant. I'm DNFing it because of what just happened. I took notes because I was getting very angry. Basically, at one point, they're hanging out and the main character starts to feel a little vibe and she goes to hold his hand. Granted, he has a girlfriend that he moved across the country to be with because they're so serious and he loves her so much. And his girlfriend is a delight. She is amazing. So they're hanging out. She starts to feel a vibe. She goes to hold his hand and he's like, what? And he goes, you know I have a girlfriend. I'd never be with another girl like you because of what you did. Period. Like, yes, as you should. He should never be with a girl like her again. Unfortunately, that does not continue. This is what really pissed me off, is that she goes to a party and she sees his girlfriend there with another guy, and the guy like has his arm around her, and then they like leave, and she immediately the next day goes to her ex and is like, I'm so sorry to break this news to you. I have to tell you, I saw your girlfriend at this party and she's cheating on you. And you know what he says to her? He goes, oh, that guy? That's her brother. So she saw his girlfriend just walking in a party with another man and assumed, oh, she has to be cheating, I must go tell him, and break his heart a second time because I'm a cheater, so everyone else in the world must be a cheater. And he gets really upset with her. He's like, oh, you just assume every woman's gonna cheat on me because you did, and you wanna make yourself feel better for what you did. That pissed me off. That pissed me off so bad. Then, very shortly after that, there's another scene where it's not important, but they end up in this house and they have to share a bed together, which annoyed me. And as they're laying in bed, he turns away from her. He's like not paying her any interest. He turns away from her. In her mind, she's like, oh, I want to fuck him so bad, but I won't. And that is character growth. I think character growth would not want to be fucking another girl's boyfriend. I think that would be character growth here, not being like, oh my God, I really want to cheat, but I won't. I hate her so much. I really, really hate her. This is what really pisses me off about her, is that she's such a hypocrite. She's a cheater, but everyone else who's a cheater is horrible. But when she did it, it's like, oh, just a cringy thing that she did. So I got halfway into this book and I am DNFing. Honestly, even though I did not finish this, I will be giving it 1 star. I read enough to know that this book is garbage. If you love this book, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Also, Ashley Winstead, I'm so sorry. I love your thrillers. This book was not it. Maybe don't write romance anymore. This was probably the worst romance book that I've ever read. And that's honestly saying something. Like, this was so bad. I don't want these characters to have a happy ending. I don't want to read about it. I don't want to know about it. They don't deserve it. This is the lowest rated romance on my shelves for a reason. It's bad. Don't read it. Okay, I hate to do it, but I have another DNF. I cannot read this for another second. There is so much that I already don't like about this book. Number one, it's very confusing. I have no idea what's happening. You're really just like dropped in and nothing is really explained. And mixing that with Cassandra Khaw's writing style, she loves the thesaurus, she loves her vocabulary. Mixing the two feels like I'm having a brain aneurysm. It's making my head hurt. I feel like Cassandra Khaw's writing style can work. I loved The Salt Grows Heavy. I think her writing style worked in that book. In this, where it's very heavy sci-fi and you're like dropped in, I don't understand the world, the setting, any of that. And on top of that, she uses very complicated, overwritten language. The two are just like not mixing. Aside from that, a big reason I'm DNFing is the insane amount of times the word fuck is in this book. Listen, I love a curse word. There's a time and place for it, though. I'm gonna read you guys 1 page. 1 singular page. All right, ready? This is 1 page. Fuck that. Fuck you. You're really gonna be a bitch to me without fucking asking why I'm here? You know I wouldn't fucking be here unless it was important. The fuck you think? If she is, then whatever you gotta say is fucking worthless. I don't have anything to do with that fucking junk cunt. I don't fucking care anymore. Fuck them. After what fucking happened to Joanna, how the fuck do you expect me to be anything but done? That's 1 page. So, I did a little research. I did a little searching to see how many times in this book the word fuck is used. Because I read that page and I said, whoa, that's crazy. I'm gonna give you guys a minute to guess how many times the word fuck is used in this book. This book is 279 pages. Guess right now. The word fuck is used 700 times. 700, actually it's 699, I'll be fair. 699. 699 times. That's like 2.5 fucks per page, which is far too many fucks in my opinion. So we're DNFing. I am over halfway into The Wolf and the Woodsman and I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Thank God, because this video has been so rough, such a bad time for me, and I went into it with the best hopes and expectations and really wanting to find some like diamonds in the rough, but they've all just been rough. They've all just been garbage. This is amazing. It already feels like it's gonna be 5 stars. I am obsessed. So basically in this book, we are following Ibuki, who comes from a village of pagans. All of the women in this pagan village have some sort of magic. Every year, the king comes to collect one of these magical women, and they're never seen again. But Eva she's not full pagan, so she's actually the only girl in her village with no magic, and because of that, everyone treats her really, really badly. Her mom is one of the people who was taken away to the king and never to be seen again. Her father, because he was not pagan, was like ran off from the village. So she's an orphan, and like I said, everyone treats her badly. So this year, when the woodsmen come to collect this year's magical sacrifice, the people of the village trick the woodsmen into thinking that Eva is this magical girl and sacrifice her. In order to get to the king, they have to travel pretty far across this whole world, and in those travels, they have to go through this very dark, kind of sentient forest where there's tons of monsters. So as they're traveling through this forest, they get attacked by all these different crazy, scary monsters. Like, actually, there's like some scenes in here that were really horrific and actually scary. Like, some of these monsters are so scary the way that they're described. So her and the captain woodsman are kind of having to rely on each other to survive and make it out of this forest. And it's so good. It's so good. It feels like such a dark fairy tale, like a true dark fairy tale. I'm loving the world building, all the subtle like folklore that is imbued into it. I love the two main characters. They're very much having like an enemies to lovers romance going on, like actual enemies. And I'm just, it's so good because the guy, Gaspar, they both swear up and down that like they hate each other, they're enemies. But every time her life is in any way endangered, does not even hesitate to protect her and save her life. And I'm like, are you sure? You sure you hate her? It's just so interesting. It's definitely like a slow burn of a story, but it kind of reminds me a lot of Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Honestly, both Spinning Silver and Uprooted, but I didn't really like Uprooted that much, but it reminds me of like that style of fantasy where it's very slow, very like folk tale-y, fairy tale-y, and I'm just having a great time. And I'm so surprised because I read Juniper and Thorn, which I actually think takes place in this world, but I did not care for that much. Honestly, I'm wondering if I were to reread that after finishing this, if I would like it more, that I have like a better grasp of what this world is and I'm actually enjoying it. But this is so good, and I kind of wish I started my Ava Reid journey off with this book instead of Juniper and Thorn. I'm loving this. I'm obsessed. I'm so glad that I'm at least finding something that I enjoy out of this video. I finished The Wolf and the Woodsman, and I'm debating if it's 4.5 or if it is like a full 5-star. I think for right now, I'm gonna give it 4.5. It could be bumped up to a 5-star with some time once I think about it a little longer, but I really loved it. This was just like the dark fairy tale fantasy that I think I've been looking for a while. I feel like ever since I read Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, like 7 years ago, I've been searching for something that gave me the same feeling as that book, and this has definitely done it. And now I'm so excited to read Ava Reid's other books. I am debating if I want to reread Juniper and Thorn now, because like I said, that does take place in this world. I don't think that there's any character crossovers. There's none that I could think of off the top of my head, but I don't know. I might want to reread that book, but I have A Study in Drowning on my shelves, and then I also want to read her new book that came out this year. I'm just very excited because a lot of my friends love Ava Reid, and I felt very left out because I didn't love Juniper and Thorn, but now I get it. I get it. I get the Ava Reid hype, love, obsession, and I'm very excited to read another book by her now. And thank God I got a good book out of this. All I wanted was one book from this video that I was like, yes, this is great. This is the diamond in the rough, and we found it. She is the diamond. So from all the books that I read for this video, I had 2 DNFs, although if you see me rating Fool Me Once 1 star on Goodreads, mind your business. I read enough of this to know it is a 1 star. We have a 2.5 star, a 3 star, and a 4.5 star. The conclusion of this video is that, unfortunately, sometimes people are correct when they say a book is bad. I wanted people to not be correct, but unfortunately, in this case, people are correct, with the exception of this one. These were not good. Some of them were downright horrible. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a trash can emoji, because sometimes books do belong in in the garbage. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and check out my Patreon where I post tons of exclusive content. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!